There you go.
Great. All right, you want to talk Nakato at 62 points or Dan Hollins at 87 points?
Welcome to the Rugby Rant podcast show, your premier North American rugby podcast, growing rugby one fan at a time.
Welcome, rugby fans. It's that time again here with the team from the Rugby Rant podcast show. Reminder, my name is Ty, the Ty Braga. Joining me is Rob, the Hammer Hammerschmidt, and Scott, the big guy himself, Ferrara. And this is the Rugby Rant, episode 118.
This ball represents the game we love. A game fueled by passion. But there are those who wear no number, nor are they in the locker room or the field of play. But they are there for every high and every low. Yes, they are watching every kick, tackle, and try scored. Yes, they are there for when you need them most, because they are the Major League Rugby fans. And the time has come for you to stand with your team. Join us at shopmlr.com today.
Well, gentlemen, as you know, it's important to be able to dive into the news. And as we do week after week, we share with you, as the fans, what we think you should know, what something might have been flying under the radar, and we're going to help you notice it. So in a moment, we'll be back. All right, gentlemen, you know how it goes. We're going to go rapid fire around the screen. We're going to share the news, what people should know. We're going to start off with Rob, the Hammer Hammerschmidt. Take it away, my friend.
Thanks, Ty, and welcome back to you. I know you had spend some time away, and I hope it was fruitful. And you once again earned your SAFA badge. But let me go to what I think is important that probably flew under the radar for a lot of folks. Crew Rugby, that's why I'm wearing the hat. My guy, Dan Falcon, thank you very much, sir, won the annual Robert Markel Cup. It's a wonderful tradition that's been developed down there in New Orleans. Basically, there's all the New Orleans teams compete for a local competition over the course of several, 10 weeks or 12 weeks. I forgot what the total number is, but you got Baton Rouge, Crescent City Blues, Harahan River Coyotes, Crew Rugby Club, and the Pontchartrain Po Boys, all competing against one another for the Markel Cup. And of course, Crew Rugby, the guys that I support down there, my guy Dan Falcon, beat the Pontchartrain Old Boys to win the cup 27-17 at the end of the competition. Congrats to the boys, and congrats to MLR prop for the NOLA Gold, Coach James Doc Ire. Well done, my friend. He is a naval corpsman, and he served his country, and it's good to see the boys come through this week, and congratulations to
and it sounds like he served rugby well as well. I like it. Great story there, and highlighting club rugby again. It's an important thing to be able to do. Scott, what have you got for us?
So I'm saying congratulations to Adam Scaturo, who is quote unquote hanging up the boots after 14 years representing Team USA on the USA wheelchair rugby team. He's gold medalist, Olympic champion. His father is a mountaineer who climbs Everest, and he met his father at Everest Base Camp. Him and three Sherpas, carrying what they could. And we're talking about a person who's classified as quadriplegic, getting up just from where they were to Everest Base Camp to see his father off on his expedition. I mean, talk about just one, an incredible rugby career, two, just doing incredible things in life. So we say thank you, Adam Scaturo, and congratulations on retirement.
Nuts and guts, boys. That's nuts and guts.
I mean, gentlemen, I struggle to get off the couch sometimes, I mean, what an amazing story. Thank you for highlighting that. I mean, if you talk about the tenacity of a character, right? No matter what the obstacle, right? And if you can certainly meet somebody at Everest, Wow, that's interesting. I'm going to dive into something on a more of an international level over here. Women's rugby, again, very important to the program here. Myself and the colleagues, we always want to be able to highlight when possible. But this one here is not necessarily for a good reason. And why do I mean that is right now there's kind of a restructure in the Premier 15s program for England. A lot of established sides might not be the same format. They're going to be missing out. In particular, you got Worcester, the Warriors organization, Wasps, and then Sale for the women's game. And why do I bring this up? Well, more importantly is how does it affect North American rugby players? We've spoken about many of the great names, Sophie de Goody, we've got Zachary, we've got all these key players that have done well internationally in that division that might not have a home if this continues to play out the way it does. There's probably about 8 to 10 of them that might be affected. This is not so much a headline for today, but it might be a headline tomorrow, and it's something for you to be able to pay attention to as a rugby fan, because we might have a lot of talent that might not have a home that is directly going to affect professional players in the women's game. And this after a Rugby World Cup. So we need to be able to think about that generation of players is where they're going to go. So let's hand it back to Rob for the next piece.
Now, this one people have probably seen. Maybe they didn't pay a tremendous amount of attention because we're not yet in the sevens mode. But PR Sevens has refined its organization and competition. They're dividing into East and West. They're adding 2 new teams. One's going to come out of California. One's going to come out of the kind of Northeast area. And it's kind of cool. They're having a naming contest involved with that component. So they're really trying to engage fans. And they're trying to engage fans in another way too, because they're starting to identify regionally what teams are kind of orchestrated, organized with particular regions of the country to create more buy-in so that people have some identifiable team to support, throughout the course of their competition.
Create a sense of ownership for that team,
right. Yeah. And they're going to have some of those big cities in those markets will have an opportunity to host a leg. So it should be fun to see this develop. And if I'm not mistaken, we're working on getting Owen Scannell to join us at some point, and I'm sure that he will talk in greater depth. So stay tuned to the Rugby Rant for that all-important interview with Owen Scannell.
Yeah, and that, of course, for fans to know, will be a part of the run, pass, or kick interviews, which has become famous for asking a couple of tough questions and giving you the opportunity to be in the know. So make sure that you continue to check those out under our handle at Rugby Rant Pod on all of our social media platforms. Rob, good one there. But have you thrown a name in the hat yet as to what you think a name for a team could be?
I haven't given it too much thought yet. Preston came up with a NorCal. It's like the NorCal Surf or the NorCal something like that. It was pretty.
Okay.
I forgot what he put down. It was a little bit.
You don't have to tell him to actually submit it though.
But he did. I think he put it out there, so it was pretty solid.
All right, I like it. Scott, what else have you got for us?
So finally, the champion Rugby New York. The Ironworkers names their new coaching staff for 2023. Former Utah player coach James Simple was named head coach. Simple playing in Romania, playing in provincial New Zealand, playing for the Warriors, coaching actually the women's Waikato provincial side. He was also the assistant coach for the Blues women's team last year, which I believe won the championship. And then they also have Ben Afiki, who's an all-black prop, as the forwards coach. Now, Ben comes over from Auckland men's, the Auckland Blues men's side, where he was a scrum coach since 2017. We also have three returning coaches / administrators coming back. Andy Ellis is actually returning as a technical advisor. Head of high performance is Ali Richardson. Now, Ali Richardson has a huge high performance clinic that a team that he runs outside of rugby. He was working with Leicester Tigers for years. And then Stephen Lewis added coaching coordinator to his varying list of duties: GM, coaching coordinator, head of youth activities, the big guys liaison to the team. I think he serves hot dogs at halftime.
The most important position there, right?
Yeah, listen, the lizard is everywhere. If it has to do with Rugby New York, the lizard is everywhere.
I like it. I like it. I like it. And thank you for highlighting all those names. We'll continue to be able to make sure we share all the MLR news as we roll out many of those new things coming ahead. And talking about MLR things, we're going to be talking about the new kit reveal in just a moment. This is one that we love debating every Christmas. We, of course, around about this time of year, we come to expect this as a bit of a tradition from the MLR. This is not unlike any other time when we have dissected it, apart from one interesting factor, gentlemen, is that we're only got 4 to be able to see right now. And we'll talk more about why that is important, or if it's important altogether, in a moment. But before then, we'll be back after a few words from one of our partners.
Tighthead Brewing Company is not just Chicago's premier location to watch rugby and enjoy quality ales and lagers. It is also a great place to enjoy local acts performing live music every Thursday and Saturday nights. Additionally, their Wednesday night trivia nights are something not to be missed. Tighthead is located in Mundelein, Illinois, and easily accessible for many Chicagoans, as it is just steps away from the metro. Owner Bruce Durr and the Tighthead staff are dedicated to ensure your microbrew experience is as tight as their beers. Bruce's love for rugby extends beyond the origin of his brewery's name. Tighthead is committed to supporting the rugby community. This includes his support for Lake County RFC and our own Rugby Rant podcast show. Tighthead's tap room is like the familiar rugby clubhouse in which friends and teammates can meet, socialize, and enjoy the wide variety of brews on tap. Regardless of whether your palate enjoys a good IPA or a dark barrel-aged brew, Tighthead can deliver. Hey, Chicago, when you want rugby, Tighthead Brewing Company will satisfy your thirst. Tighthead, it's worth more than a try.
Welcome back, everybody. As I promised a moment ago, we are now going to deliver our Rugby Rant debate, talking about the kits that have been revealed for 2023. Now, before we dive into it, a reminder, we're going to go around the table. On this occasion, it's going to be slightly different, whereas I may not normally be giving my own opinion on top of this. I'm going to participate because it's just going to be too much fun. There is a 1 to 4 here, how we can rank the 4 sides that have revealed what kits they will be using for 2023. As a reminder, gentlemen, everybody has their opinion, but only mine counts. So all jokes aside, we have 4 sides. It's New York, Utah, Seattle, and the Free Jacks. We're going to talk about a 1 to 4 position. Each one here is going to give us their 1 to 4. And then at the back end, I want to find out, why do you guys think that it was important that they released only 4 now instead of doing all of the 12 sides as they had done the previous year? And do we think that this is because of a particular reason or not? We'll be debating that come towards the end. But for all our fans tuning in at home, as Rob and Scott may tell us their favorites from 1 to 4 out of these that have been revealed, why don't you go ahead and drop a comment on our social media under the handle at Rugby Rant Pod and tell us what you think. Were they spot on? Do you disagree? Do you agree? Does it matter? Who knows?
Just tell us why we're shit.
Yeah, just give it to them straight. That's exactly the way it should be. So, gentlemen, I think we're ready to be able to kick this one off. And as a reminder for each of you, I want to hear your 1 to 4 ranking on Utah, Seattle, the Free Jacks, and New York. And on this occasion, I'm going to hand it over to Rob Hammerschmidt to start us off.
I'm going to start with my number 4 first and work my way to number 1.
Oh,
so I'm going to go with Utah at number 4. Now, I have a lot of Utah kit in my closet. I love Utah's. I mean, black, you can't go wrong with black. It never goes out of style. It transcends, decades, et cetera. But I liked it because they still retain the 4 stripes. We know that the 4 stripes kind of have significance, with family and community, et cetera, that are built into every shirt that they have. So that consistent component I really liked. Here's my issue. The jersey's way too busy, and it reminded me of the most recent iteration of the USA Rugby jersey that the men's donned recently that I didn't particularly care for. So that was my, number 4. Number 3 was Seattle. And I think Scott may agree with me at some point here. I wasn't as hard up on the black But, quite frankly, I've liked some of their other kit in the past better when they had the skyline, when they had the names of the, their core supporters or their, season ticket holders. And I thought those were creative. I didn't think these were particularly creative. And I like a little bit more splashes of that bright green. So I would have liked to have seen that a bit more. In second comes Free Jacks. I like it when, like Utah, they retain that 4 stripes piece, as consistency from season to season. I like the fact that the Free Jacks keep the hoops consistently from season to season. I like the fact that the side panels match the shorts. And then if you notice a little detail, the socks had the same pattern as the jersey. So they put a lot of thought into the cohesion of the kit from top to bottom. It of course has collars, which I like, but the red, white, and blue, as much as the American loves that and me, it doesn't do anything special for me overall. But unfortunately, I had to go with Rugby New York as number 1, much to my chagrin. It could have been a bit more orange, but I love. Here's what I like about that.
A bit more orange. There's no orange.
There's no orange. But what I liked about Rooney is that it seems like year to year they're going with something iconic about New York that builds into their jersey, right?
That's easily identifiable.
Whether it's the Lady Liberty, but they just kind of carry that forward. And to me, that's the consistency piece right there. The colors, the navy, the white, and I really think that the splash of color in the fun one, or maybe it's just going to be black, but it'll be an interesting and fun black, is going to be the alternative kit, which has yet to be released.
So, Rob, I want to let you know that you were wrong 3 out of the 4 times. But, it's a good effort, though. Let's hear what Scott's got to share.
So I'm doing it the same way as Rob. I'm doing 4 to 1. My 4 is Seattle. I am not in love with their whites. I think they could have done a little more with their whites, and you could see the orca, the not the tail, the dorsal fin coming through. It looks really cool, and the top has that that algae color water thing going on. It looks cool, but I don't know if it really. I think what they should have done is on their home kit they should have went full black and white. I like that green color they have. But I think if they went the full black and white and really went into that sea wolf, that orca thing, just for this season,
just lean into it. If you're gonna go into it, go the whole way.
Yeah, go hard. Make it black. Make the accents white. You have your white, and then keep everything else that you had. I love the way the sleeves are with the white accents on the bottom, but really make it super black and with the white accents. I think would be a little better. Now Utah, I like Utah's better than Rob does, specifically their home. I love having the 4 skinny hoops across the front with that other kind of pattern that they have. And again, you talk about matching the top on the home kit, the black top with the red hoops matches the black socks with the red hoops. I think it's a really clean look. I do think it looks better in black and red than the blue and red that the men's had. It's just their 2 away kits. Don't really like the first one with all the red and black. I think their white kits look a little better, although I know people are going to complain that it looks like a soccer jersey. I can already hear it. They're going to say it looks like the New York Red Bulls or something, but I like it. It's a different it's a different see so I go Seattle 4, Utah 3. I'm going Free Jacks 2. I always like the Free Jacks hoops. Rob hit consistently everything I was going to say as far as the side paneling, matching the shorts, and matching the middle hoop to make it a complete look. Then the socks hoops matching the top hoops. Again, I don't like their third jersey as much. The whites on the bottom kind of looks cool, but if you look at the back of the jersey, they're going with white lettering still. So maybe I would have done black lettering, for the number instead.
See, I didn't see that. Now I gotta
the bottom part of the white lettering. You can't see the bottom part of the number.
And who knows? Maybe
I didn't notice that because I couldn't.
And
see
maybe
it.
It's a mock-up though. I mean, maybe when it comes out, it's highlighted in
and for those people that aren't following why we think this is bad, you probably figured it out. But for somebody who hasn't. How are you supposed to know who's who on the pitch, right? And especially if you're a commentator or if you're viewing it, oh man.
But who knows? Maybe they come out with the actual kit and it has the the dark outline around it, and it just wasn't mocked.
Right, but this is what we got to go on now. So it's good that you brought it up.
And then number one, I'm obviously going with Rooney, but and again, Rob kind of hit all my points. It features an historic landmark that epitomizes what the New York City skyline is known for. And that's the whole thing, right? Is they want to change the skyline. They're built for New York. They have this ironworkers mentality and this ironworkers name. So they went with the Brooklyn Bridge on the front. And then actually on the underside, on the sides, is they have the stone arches, the iconic arches of the Brooklyn Bridge built into the side as a little thing. And then on the back, the built for New York. And then usually on the front, they'll usually have the R and Y in the subway letters, which I always thought was a cool little thing. Just again, it's a New York thing. And then I'm waiting for their third jersey. I don't know what it's going to be. I haven't been told anything. And I have a feeling that Seattle's going to come out with a third jersey at some point. They just haven't announced it, to be honest. Because everybody else is coming out with that alternate kit. But yeah, I'm going Rooney 1, Free Jacks 2, Utah 3, Seattle 4. Those are my top 4, baby.
All right. Well, then it comes to me and being lost in the line. A lot of the things that you guys said before are definitely valid. But let me jump into it without further ado. I've actually got at number 4. And by the way, I wrote like a whole dissertation on this, by the way, like crossing out that sucker comment. So here it comes. At 4, I actually have Seattle there. And maybe I love that some of the points that you leaned into with the black and white, seeing the fin. I do get that, but I also don't like the fact that it moves away from the green, and not only because it's a comfortable color that I'm used to seeing. I think it's become a part of their identity, and I talk about things being on brand, and to change the brand after so many years is not great, and it doesn't also doesn't have a continuity with the rest of the sports franchises there. So you could argue that's a good thing. You could argue that's something bad. There's a matter of opinion there, and we'll leave that to the internet to be able to tell us there. But some of the pros that I did point out, as I said, it's got a nice, clean, simple design. I like the fact that you pointed that out there, Scott. It could be a little bit sharper in some points, for sure. But I liked it. What I didn't like is that it's kind of stepped away from what we know from them and a little bit more off-brand than what I think is smart to do when you've already spent years developing an identity and a brand. So I don't like to see teams do that. Yeah, and I did actually write here, and I'm going to say it anyways. Looks like a football, it's not football, I should say, the soccer uniform, but I'm going to cross that out because you said I can't say that. Next up, I'm actually going to put Rooney at 3rd, New York. And here's why. Again, it's going to sound like I'm a broken record, but I liked the orange, and there's a very, very subtle bit of the orange in the new logo, which is the ball. I feel like you could even just have included that element by the collar being orange. That's it. Didn't need to be overpowering. It just needed to be a subtle nod to something of the past included in the new, right? So it didn't need to have the traditional big hoops and things like that. A lot of people have said, but you can reference something that is a part of your identity again. But I do love the iconic imagery of New York City, all those points. Now that I heard you guys talk about it, I feel like I want to move it one up. In fact, I'm going to do that anyway. I'm going to do that.
You guys, I didn't talk about it, but they're going with collars this year.
Yes.
Oh, no. So that was one of the reasons why I love the Free Jacks one. I didn't see that from the mock-up, though.
The blue looks a little, if you look at the white, you'll see the collar more. But
okay, maybe I just didn't get it from the imagery because we understand they're not 100%. They're just mock-ups. I get that. But now I have to be able to elevate it up again because that's one of the things that I do like about the Free Jacks one. And while I have the opportunity, let me dive into that one. I had put it actually as 2. I want to, man, I'm torn now because now you guys have said so many good things that now I didn't notice. So that one definitely I like, but let me just talk about the Free Jacks one. I do like the collar. I love the vintage style of it. We all remember playing in our youth where it was always about the collar. It doesn't have the long jerseys, but it's got the short sleeve, but it's still got the same feel. It's classic. It's timeless. It's on brand. It's not particularly inspiring. They're kind of staying very much closer to what we've seen from them in the past, but maybe that's their strength. maybe it is their strength to be able to stick with the same thing with subtle variations. I love Rob's point that how the color rolls from the side of the jersey into the shorts. I think that's going to look sharp on the field. And it's going to look good. And it's even though there's taken some criticism that, okay, well, how inspiring can you be with just red, white, and blue and with just hoops, really? But I think that they created enough contrast between their home and away kit that it's not going to be a problem. And with that being said, I like that they offered an alternate kit so far, right? And that's good to be able to see. That one does shift quite nicely away. The same thing with Utah. I'm going to talk about them now. And I put them actually as my number one. Rob had them at their last place. I like the red and black. I think it's always going to be sharp. I just like the way it looks. What I will say I don't like, though, is that in the previous version, their away jersey, the strong red across the chest, had the mountain range inside it, kind of the same way that we now see iconic imageries being included for inside the jerseys of other teams. That's not there. But I do like the strong stripes. I like it crossing across. And yes, I get that you say with the blue and red, like it did with the USA kit, that it kind of looked a bit busy. I get that. On this one, I don't think it does against the simple red and black. So my pros there is they stay with the traditional on-brand look, strong contrast between the home and away kits. It's easily differentiated. Also still, different from what we have seen in the past, but still on point. What I didn't like is no mountain range and those identifiable marks there. None of that regional flair that we like to be able to see from sides. So, I'm torn now between my second and third, but it's a toss-up between Free Jacks and New York. I think I will go now and change it, though, and I'm going to put Utah at 1, New York at 2, because I do like the inclusion
somewhere
of the iconic
Phil
imagery.
Harris is cursing your name, bro.
Right. And the fact that you said that they have a collar, which I do like. Then Free Jacks at 3rd. Seattle is my last place, unfortunately.
I gotta say, the Utah home jerseys with the black and the red stripes, the thin red stripes,
right?
Sensational. The away top, not a fan of, but the red socks. I really love the away red socks on Utah.
It pops so nicely.
And and the same thing for Free Jacks, the home kit with the red on the sides and the red shorts. Looks so good. It's a clean look. I mean, so don't get me wrong. I did have Utah as my 3rd, and it really was just that those 2 away tops that they have. I just can't get on them.
And I got to tell you, like, as much as I was not a fan of the Utah jerseys, and I actually like the white and gray one a little bit better than I like the other 2, just because it was a contrast. I love the Utah shorts. Like, if you notice that in on the side, there's that V right where it's cut out a little bit. They have a really nice color contrast there with some stripes, and then they have stripes inside the shorts as well. So I thought those were
like that
slick
stuff. I mean, look, so far, we haven't got everything to compare it to. We still got 8 teams to be able to reveal theirs. But do you feel like this is actually a significant difference from the years before, that, you feel like they're because one of the criticisms that came up last year is like San Diego looked very close to Utah colors, and there was Toronto is now looking very close to others that are having. Do you think that our people are going to feel this the same way this year with what we've seen so far? Anybody can jump in there.
Yeah, I mean, San Diego did have that burnt orange look, and then people got pissed off that they went away from their regular red and black. But in my opinion, I like that color. I thought it was a cool color. It was a little different. And it did give them a little differentiation between ATL and Utah.
They tried to pay homage to the cohort a little bit with the scalloping.
Right. Kind of looked like the chainmail type thing.
Yeah, I just didn't like the fact that when they combined that with the black, it looked a little bit more like it was a NOLA shirt than a San Diego shirt. That was my only rub.
Yeah, and to me it looked like snake scales almost then when it was in the black, but I thought it could have been the other. But let's also ask the important question, as we promised folks we would do, is that there has only been 4 revealed, but traditionally up until now they've revealed all 12, home and away at the same time, I believe. So let me throw it to you, Rob, because we started this round with you. Do you think there's some rhyme or reason to this?
I think there is. If I had to guess, I think it has to do with the fact that the Hounds are delayed. And I'm not trashing the Hounds, and I'm not trashing Paladin. The fact that they got in October, and then they had in short order to put together a team, find a place a venue to play, find a venue to train, get players, get a roster developed, get a coaching staff developed, get a director of rugby in there, do all the things, the kit, the branding, all that stuff kind of took a back seat, if you will. And so as a result, they weren't really able to get a design to submit. And we all been around rugby. If you've been around rugby in America, you've been around rugby anywhere in the world, you know that rugby kit is notoriously takes a long time for custom kit to be produced. I mean, I just got some jerseys set up not too long ago for a collegiate alumni team. And I ordered them. I mean, I placed an order in the beginning of November, and I've been told that they will be in by March, mid-March, but it could be tight.
Well, another example of that is LA and Austin last year, where
2 years
still
ago.
not.
If you remember that they, LA stuff, I think we were waiting on getting some LA kit from our provider.
Yes, exactly. Right.
In June. And I think we were able to get it in time for the final, which was in early July.
Yeah. So it definitely does take a long time. So, I mean, it may be a factor. And if it was, surely it makes sense. I mean, it's kind of a smart move. I'm almost proud to be able to say that if that is what happening, that they thought of that, because, you release 4 now, you release another 4, who knows? Well, this week coming, right? And another 4, that gives them a little bit of extra time to be able to get that last team in, because they were last in. They're probably least prepared in that regard, and not, as you said before, because they're not doing a good enough job. Just they got so much on their plate in such a short window to do it. So it could be a factor. Scott, what do you think?
I mean, that definitely could be the factor, but I have a thing with, we've kind of set the precedent that Kitmas is coming, and everybody gets excited, and then there's
it's a great time about for retail. Yeah.
And everybody gets some hubbub about, this and that, and the fans get engaged, just like with the draft. Oh, the draft is coming. We have this draft day. We make it about the draft, and it's going to be on CBS, and then it's going to be on TRN, and then we're going to do our show. So I like that we're creating the event, because we're an event society here in America. We're an event sporting what we watch sports. Right now we're in the college bowl season, right? So we're watching all these bowl games, and then the event is the college football playoffs, and then we're going to the next event, which is the Super Bowl. And then the next event, we're talking about the NBA championship, and then the NHL championship, and then we're going right back into, football again. So it's about the event. So I kind of like when they just threw everybody out there in the event.
But isn't that kind of part of the appeal here, is that what you're talking about is keeping your marketing relevant throughout the year. And so right now it's kind
spreading
of
it out
space.
can be a smart move.
You have the calendar, or the schedule come out not too long ago, and now you can start slowly trickling out, these kits, and it keeps people interested and engaged. I think in concept it's good, but I think in reality, it can be frustrating for teams and for fans of teams that are revealed later. Like for example, you can pre-order Rooney, but you can get right now Seattle. So Seattle fans are getting their kit in time for Christmas.
And this is, I'm glad you brought it up.
I called it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's kind of a marketing versus sales opinion here.
Right.
Marketing value, totally get it. Drip it over a couple of weeks, spread it out, keep people engaged, give them content to consume in the off season, give them the hype going into the preseason. Love it. I get that. Sales wise, not a great strategy, right? And also to this point, any order that you were about to make for Christmas, that's not going to be here, right? So it's already, you could argue, too late. Right, you could have been. If you were dripping it, you could have dripped it in November.
We have to realize too, the season starts in 8 weeks, so the pre-orders should be getting in now. If you want it for, we're talking. Seattle has their first home match with the 18th, right, and then New York has their first home match, whatever, the 26th. So you want to get their orders in now for all the other teams.
What I can tell you though is on Shop MLR, I don't see a pre-order right now. But I can tell you that you can get some really awesome deals in last year's gear.
Right.
Get your Giltini gear while it's hot, baby. But I think I understand what you mean about the dripping it, but I think there's enough signings, enough different things. I mean, in the middle of this broadcast, Toronto's GM stepped down. So what? There's enough.
Not a news piece then,
because it happened in the middle of the broadcast. But my point being, I think there's enough in signings and this different things and what the Hounds are doing and this, that, and the other thing that you can get all that information and still keep it social media active and all those things active, but give yourself that Kitmas. And that's our thing, because they don't do that, in the NHL. See, the NHL just started to do that with their new jerseys, where they're bringing their jerseys out and they're dropping them all on the same day. And I have a feeling that they've been looking at other leagues because they used to not do that.
Now, I love that concept. If there's the marketing buildup, so it drops on this day, the hype is there, everybody's focus is right there, but there wasn't enough of that. I mean, I totally get it. I mean, there's marketing balls being dropped in several different areas, yeah? So, but it sounds like Scott's definitely for the one big reveal. I don't know where you stand, Rob.
I like the idea in principle, but I think in actual reality, it can be a bit frustrating from a fan perspective. Look, in my ideal world, there would be a Kitmas and you'd be able to order that jersey, whether be it pre-order or be it get one of the two jerseys you're looking for,
right,
and be able to have it delivered at your doorstep in 7 to 10 days. I think that'd be the ideal, and everybody gets an opportunity to order something for Christmas or Hanukkah or Kitmas, whatever you're calling it.
One thing I will say, and I'm going to give an extra shout out to the guys that help us do this week after week, is Rugby Now, who of course is also running shopmlr.com. One of the major benefits and improvements as a fan when looking to get your favorite gear is that they offer they've changed the model from previous organizations who had done it, that they actually hold the stock and they can do, as a result, same day shipping. They ship it out at least the same day. You won't receive it, but you're going to get a lot faster than what previously in years gone by might have meant that you waited 6 or 7 weeks because it was coming from Australia where they were producing it at Paladin. So as a rugby fan, though, you want to be able to get this before the season. And to the point that Scott made, if it's all revealed at the same time in December, you can do those pre-orders, and hopefully they can guarantee that it gets to you before the season. Every club has an equal opportunity. Every fan has an equal opportunity to be able to get that interest that's required. To your point then, Rob, is yes, it's good for marketing to drip it, to be able to create content, but somebody's going to lose at the end when they've lost 4 weeks of pre-sales. Right. So very good points from both of you gentlemen there. So it sounds like that for the 2024 season, we'd like to be able to see all of it at once because we can go shopping then.
Yep, you bet.
All right, gentlemen. Again, as per usual, I want to be able to thank everybody who's tuned in to be able to watch us here on the Rugby Rant podcast show. It's an absolute pleasure to keep doing what we do each and every week. We do it with your help, more importantly, as you continue to tune in and consume this content. And you can do so on all of our social media platforms under the handle @RugbyRantPod. You can also continue to be able to enjoy us preseason, throughout the season, almost any time possible on the Rugby Network. And we'll continue to be able to do what we do week after week, which is helping rugby grow one fan at a time. And of course, that includes you. You can tell us what you think of this show and all the others by dropping a comment down below. We encourage you to be able to do so. Rob, Scott, and myself will answer them accordingly. And we invite you to also challenge us if you wanted to join us on the show as a guest ranter, or perhaps you'd like to nominate somebody. Gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. We know where we stand on this, 1 to 4. So hopefully the rest of the rugby world will tune in and tell us what they think of our choices from 1 to 4. But for now, I think that's it. And there's no winner here today because we'll let the fans decide that one. All right. So once again, thank you for tuning in for this episode 118 of the Rugby Rant podcast show. On behalf of the gang, thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you at the next.